Welcome to Dan's Diary, House Style, week 20. And I would like to say, although it did rain, I think it rained for 3 days during the week, progress has still been pretty good. So you're going to enjoy this week's episodes. Before we start, we'll go through the normal process of saying thank you to the 334 subscribers. Thank you to the 1.8 thousand views I got last week. And thank you for the shares, 6 shares. Someone owned up, incidentally, to sharing the other week. My friend FunkiJ. He's a London-based health and safety expert, but more importantly than that, he mixes music and is a DJ. So have a look at his various social media contact outgoings. He sometimes puts the music he's mixed on those, so you can watch him. Go and have a listen to his music, join him, say thanks, etc, etc. And I also thank you, FunkiJ. Right, so without further ado, let's go and crack on, see the progress. You're going to be amazed, and at the end of this I'll tell you the plans for next week. Well, welcome. Wednesday sees the masons starting to render the external wall. They've done a couple of the panels and they're mixing up, ready for the balance. So within a few days, I would imagine all that wall will be done. Inside, they're just the electricians are pulling the cables through into the various outlets. They'll be doing that throughout the building. I mean, my thought would be put the cable in before you put it in the wall, but this is the way they prefer to do it. We've got a mason just smoothing off the corners of the window. This is probably the last window to do. They've done all under the stairs, that's all smooth. I'm quite impressed. Man caves, oh look, they've laid that concrete. So the concrete floor is started to be laid, hiding all of the cables that run the electricity and the speaker wires. That wasn't bad for a morning's pour, was it? They'll just go over that, make it smooth. They are planning on continuing that the rest of the day. So let's see the progress at the end of Wednesday, shall we? But at the moment, things are looking up. Upstairs, the painters are what would you call it? Plastering the walls to the man cave, while downstairs they've whacker plated the whole of that floor to the dining room and the living room. It's nice and compact, it's flat, ready for the reinforcing bars. Friday has a lot of works gone on. We've rendered most of that front wall there, haven't we? So all of that's been done. They've actually done the columns down the far end. I saw them doing the preparation works for that earlier on this week. The only one we haven't done is that, and that's because the root's in the way, but they're going to take that root out. So congratulations to the wall people. Another thing they've done, which I've just realised, they've backfilled the trench that they made, so we can have this bit, the earth sloping from the wall to the road, so any water that comes down here, it doesn't lay at the bottom of the wall, it flows down into the road. So they've done that. It just needs a little bit smoothing off and a bit of contouring, and that's done as well. Well, progress on the Waterman this week is that apart from 1 or 2 little hiccups where it hit some hard rock strata, he's now gone through that, and he tells me he's sailing through the earth now pretty quickly. We had delivered yesterday the required 4-inch permanent pipes, and they will all be installed once he hits the required depth and he's got free flowing water. At the moment they're on break, so that's why everything's off. So that seems to be he tells me that he should be in the position to lay his 4-inch pipes in there end of next week. He should be down to the required 220 odd feet with free flowing water by the end of next week. So fingers crossed that's what it is, and he doesn't hit any more rock, and he has no more problems. The flooring has continued. You can see they finished the man cave. They did that area in front of the stairs, and they're spreading out across the dining room and the kitchen. We've got a couple of people. That guy there in the blue shirt, he does the smoothing, and there's a guy just around the corner who actually lays it. You'll see him in a minute. And they've laid out the rebar for the rest of it. Here he is. Now our little friend here, who's very good at laying floor tiles, he's having a crack at the old screed. These guys are bringing in concrete in buckets, and what he does, he smooths it into position when they've finished throwing it on the floor. A good system, I think. At the front they've constructed a fair bit of the roof. They've got to do the edges, of course, but that's looking quite good. Just got that bit there to finish, and then they can put the edges on and rivet it all to the framework, and that's finished. And this is in the ensuite. You can see the plumbing boys are starting to fix the water supply. So they're doing well. And I'm guessing this is the pipe for the waste, for the shower, and for the maybe the toilet and hand basin. You see, this is one of the reasons why you've got to be here all the time. I don't want a pipe coming out of my garage wall at the front and going all the way down there. I don't want it. I can't maintain it. So what I've just asked him to do is make that all good and put the pipe on the surface on the other side of the garage, all the way down to the floor, and then out at the bottom. Much more sensible and aesthetically pleasing. Well, I suppose we could do this a slightly different way today. So this is the garage side. You can see they've offered up the guttering. That's not entirely 100% fixed yet. That will be aligned and all the joints smoothed off when it's handed over. The canopies over the windows have been done. All the plasters have been done, or the rendering, and the squareness around all of the windows has also been done. So that's this elevation. The back elevation, what do we see? Well, we see the painter has commenced adding his skim coat of, I'm going to call this plaster, to the outside face to get it to be smooth. Again, the guttering's in place, the roof's in place, all of that window opening, in fact all of the window openings in that section there are complete and squared and ready. Moving down there, we see all the window openings squared off, with the exception of the big one. The door isn't squared off yet because we don't know the exact size of the door. They've started to do the middle section of roof. All the gutters are in place, just not finally 100% fixed. And they've started to do the ridge tiles, which I think look very nice. Okay, so moving on. The bedroom area at the side, or at the end of the house, the guttering is, or part of the guttering is in place. All of the canopies have been done. All of the window openings have been squared off. Plaster finished on the outside. Looking good. As we go round the side, we see the guttering. They've laid those ceiling, those roof panels just down to this end corner, so we could work underneath in the dry, because we knew what the weather forecast was going to be. It actually rained horrendously this morning. That's why there's no one really on site today. So all the windows have been squared off. These windows here I told you about earlier, these are the ones that were lowered about half a block to a block to accommodate the size of the finished window. In the wall we have got some waste pipes and some water pipe for the bathrooms and the toilets. So they've been installed and poked through at the appropriate size. And let me show you my jungle. At the back of that, if you remember the earlier videos, we've got the cesspit. So these will all connect into that. Front wise, what have we got? We've got all of the windows have been squared off that I can see. We've still got to raise that and flatten it and put it in a different position. We can do that anytime. The guttering's been done. We lowered that window, so that one we'll square off that one when we plaster the inside. It's not plastered because we're putting pipes there at the moment. We're just putting the, well, that was where the pipe was going to go, but I've changed it and it's now going to run from the inside, and it's going to run along here all the way round the corner and into the cesspit. That's the bathroom toilet from the apartment. There you go, from the apartment. Right, let's have a look inside. To get the insides ready for the concrete in, you've got to put the cabling in first. So there you can see the pipes for the electrical. These guys here have just started the pipe for the washing machine. That'll connect up to the hand basin, which will then go out because there's a hand basin in there. All these are dutifully connected up. I think that's the right word. Joel says all this area should be concreted next week. This is the kitchen. You can see where they've done so far, all into there and into the man cave you already know about. These wires, or this, will connect to the central island, which will be sitting there somewhere. So this has all been done this week. In the MC, I think, I can't remember the status of this. I think maybe they did this corner bit this week. We've discussed that at length, so we all know what's happening there. And if we go up the stairs, hold on. I didn't want to video that because there's normally a swear word involved as I climb up it. In here, the guys are getting the wall, they're putting their first skim layer on it and rubbing it down, ready for the second skim layer, which will be rubbed down, and then we have the first of the undercoats. Now there could be a development in this area. I'll tell you about it next week, because we should have an answer by next week. So for the moment, works on the bedroom wall have stopped, and the works on that wall have stopped. But that doesn't really interfere with the progress, because they can obviously do the other walls. There's the water and the waste outlets all fitted and ready to go. Just got to finalise one or two things on those, like the height of that, for instance, needs raising. And there'll be a heater unit for water, because it's only cold water in the Philippines. So there'll be a heater unit which will need a power point, so we'll bring down a power point from the ceiling somewhere. Next week, I'm told, should see us marking out the ceiling grid on this area for certain, maybe the man cave, maybe a couple of the other rooms. So we'll see what happens on that. The water guys didn't work today because the operator is feeling a little bit sick, and the ceiling guys aren't working, the roofing guys aren't working today because it rained this morning, and they thought it would carry on raining all day, and now it's cheered up and bright, so they could have worked. So that's progress for this week, and back to the studio and Daniel Thompson. What do you think of that progress? Now it's beginning to look like a house, isn't it? Oh, dear me, my hair. Please, no comments about the hair. I'll get it fixed for next week, I promise you. Right, let's say thank you to the countries that are watching. The biggest one's obviously America, so we'll keep them quiet and say thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for watching. Please send me a message with I'm watching, and I'll put it on the screen for next week. Next week's video, or next week's progress, should have, if it's good weather, we should be doing a few things outside, like the rendering of the wall, the retaining wall, the barbecue foundation base, excuse me, the roof work and the water drilling. And if it's not, and anyway, we'll be doing the inside works, which will be the continuing of the slab, the concrete slab. The painters will be continuing to smooth off and plaster the inside walls. The ceiling people are setting out the ceilings in certain rooms. The water and the plumbing and drainage people, is what I meant to say, they'll be continuing their works and setting all that out, recessing the pipes into the brick block work, that kind of thing. So it should be all hands to the pumps next week, weather permitting. So thank you for watching. I'm afraid there's no bloopers this week. They just, nothing went wrong. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week, healthy, wealthy and wise. Take care.